and 9 hours. That's 105 hours. Silver, who reached the goal of more than 105 hours, must now wait for the Guinness World Record to certify the process. During the singing marathon, which took place in Santo Domingo, the artist sang more than 5,000 songs. When Silver finished, he was taken to a medical center for a general checkup. How do you sing for 4.5 days straight?
Now he needs a hot cup of tea and lemon, I believe. That's incredible.
Well, I hope he makes the record.
Yeah,
after
I
all
do
that.
too. Right, I do too.
All right. That's all our time for now. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back here again. History at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, Satya Rhodes Conway will be Madison's new mayor in a few weeks. What Madison Police Chief Mike Koval is saying about her.
Judge Brian Hagedorn leads Judge Lisa Neubauer in the race for state Supreme Court. What the candidates are saying about the results.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Satya Rhodes Conway will officially become mayor in 2 weeks.
Today, city and county leaders are weighing in on the change of leadership in Madison. Arthur shares what they had to say. Keely?
Well, Rhodes Conway was endorsed by Dane County Executive Joe Parisi, Soglin by Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney. One person we didn't hear from, Madison Police Chief Mike Koval, that is until today.
I think that she is ambitious, she's driven.
Today, Police Chief Mike Koval and Mayor-elect Satya Rhodes Conway speaking optimistically about one another.
I'm hopeful that the chief and I will have a positive relationship.
But the two disagreeing on a key public safety issue, police staffing.
My role is to support, to provide, to procure all of the data, all of the information that she needs to make good public policy.
Koval telling us he hopes Rhodes Conway looks at the data and sees what he sees, a force that often can only respond to high priority calls.
Historically, we have always found ourselves sort of behind the 8 ball in terms of patrol staffing.
Rhodes Conway says she's more interested in additional mental health services and addiction services to the city, re-emphasizing her stance at a news conference today.
I don't think we need necessarily more officers, but we need to make sure that they have the resources that they need in order to do the core work of fighting crime in our community.
Koval agrees with adding crisis intervention through non-policing measures, but given the city's increasing rates of aggravated assaults and vehicle thefts, he says he needs more resources in-house.
I don't think that we're at a point, given the growth of Madison and the big city trends that we're seeing, that we can necessarily sleep on the fact that we'll still need staffing for traditional calls for service.
When asked about the topic of officers inside schools, Rhodes Conway says that is up to the school board. In December, the board renewed its contract with the city to keep officers in its 4 main high schools.
Keely, thank you.
We're learning more about Madison's mayor-elect and how she will approach the transition in an interview with News 3 Now. Rhodes Conway says her first steps include getting a team in place, which includes a deputy mayor along with city committee members. Rhodes Conway says she met with Mayor Soglin earlier today and they discussed making the transition into office a smooth one for her. She's also reflecting on her time in Madison.
You moved here 20 years ago, was it? Almost. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes happening in Madison over the past 20 years. So what is your vision for our community?
You know, what we've been talking about and what still remains true in my heart is that Madison needs to be a place where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And there's a lot that goes into that, but our incredible quality of life has to be something that is available to everyone who lives here, and we'll be working on that.
And we will have our full exclusive interview with Satya Rhodes Conway on our website, channel3000.com.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary Canalti is out on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, getting the sun back today made a big difference in temperatures. They were well into the 50s, but tomorrow we'll have more clouds, more showers, and guess what? The temperatures will be back down into the 40s. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. We've had sunshine for much of the day, but now the clouds are starting to move in from the south and west. And as we take a look at Doppler track, there are some showers over parts of Iowa heading in our direction. The air is still a little dry over southern Wisconsin, so it'll take a while for the showers to reach us, but we'll see them later on tonight, especially for areas south and west of Madison. Areas north of Madison Madison could see some flakes of snow mixed in with the rain, but with temperatures staying above freezing, nothing really should stick to the ground. Last night, as skies cleared out, temperatures dropped into the upper 20s here in Madison and over much of southern Wisconsin. A few places stayed in the lower 30s. High temperatures so far today were pretty mild, though. Here in Madison, we've topped out at 57 so far. It was 59 in Boscobel and also in Mineral Point. And current temperatures are still well into the 50s across all of southern Wisconsin, even near Lake Michigan, thanks to a southwesterly breeze keeping the lake breeze at bay. But by tomorrow morning, look for skies to be cloudy. We'll see some scattered showers developing overnight. Low temperatures will drop into the middle 30s by tomorrow morning. Again, there could be a few flakes of snow mixed in north and west of Madison. But during the day tomorrow, just some scattered off and on showers. It'll be a cooler day, also windy as well, with a high temperature of 47. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. We are waiting to hear whether that narrow state Supreme Court race with a 6,000 vote spread will end in a recount.
Once we see the official results next week, the losing candidate will have 3 business days to request a recount. Rose Schmidt is here to explain what the candidates are saying today. Rose?
Yes, well, liberal judge Lisa Neubauer is not saying whether she'll concede to conservative judge Brian Hagedorn, who declared victory early this morning, although the Associated Press has not called a winner in this election. Hagedorn said at a news conference this morning that his 6,000 vote lead is insurmountable, so it doesn't make sense to have a recount. In a video posted on her Facebook page today, Neubauer did not say whether she would make that request for a recount, but called for volunteers and donations to help make sure the election results are accurate.
So now, the morning after the election, this race is still too close to call. We need to make sure that every last vote is counted, and that's going to take a little time.
Yes, if a recount happens, absolutely. We'll be prepared financially, we'll be prepared legally to do that, and we'll already be making all the preparations necessary for that. I'm hoping that won't be necessary.
The Wisconsin Elections Commission says this election was the second highest turnout in a nonpartisan race since 2000, coming in second to the election in 2011, which was also the last Supreme Court election where a recount happened. County clerks will be starting the canvassing process of going through the results over the next few days. If the current margin with Hagedorn's 6,000 votes ahead stays the same, Neubauer's campaign would have to pay for that recount because it's more than 0.25% of a difference between the two candidates.
Thank you, Rose.
The school district in Milton passed a $59.9 million referendum as part of yesterday's spring election. That money will now be spread throughout the district's 6 buildings, with changes ranging from accessibility upgrades and increased security to a new pool and a larger gymnasium at the high school. Superintendent Tim Shiger says the improvements could lead to people moving to the city. For many Wisconsin voters, yesterday's election went off smoothly.
But what happens when something goes wrong, like a polling place running out of ballots? One Greene County community experienced that yesterday. Chris Leuenberg tells us more.
Imagine walking into your polling place.
You checked in like normal, went and cast my vote.
You go up to the voting machine and you're told that
this is just a piece of paper. We actually ran out of the regular ballots.
Would you trust that your vote was secure?
And I didn't feel comfortable doing that.
That your vote was counted?
And it surprised me a little bit.
That's what happened in the town of Exeter during yesterday's election. And those are some of the concerns that Johanna Meyer had after she went to the polls.
I trust them, but I want to know that everything was getting transferred exactly the way it was on each ballot.
Meyer actually decided to leave and then come back later when official ballots were available again. So for the other 57 people who used unofficial ballots, what happened? According to the Exeter town clerk, they were voting on photocopied versions of the official ballots while she went out to pick up more.
They fill out the paper ballot just like a real one. They get put in this back slot, which is a provisional spot. They stick them in here like this. They go down. And then when I came back with the ballots, we opened this up, took them out, the paper copies, and 2 election inspectors remade these ballots.
The Wisconsin Election Commission said that though situations like this are unusual, this is official, secure procedure.
And the process is in accord with what the State Elections Commission says and what Greene County Clerk told us to do. So we followed everything to the letter.
Though the procedure was all above board, Meyer just wants to be sure about her main concern.
That there was accountability, that everything was being transferred properly.
I'm Chris Leuenberg, News 3 Now.
Exeter was one of 8 townships in Greene County that needed more ballots yesterday. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says voter turnout in Wisconsin was 27% of the voting age population, which is the second highest turnout, as Rose mentioned, in a nonpartisan election since 2000.
Illinois detectives are heading to Cincinnati to check into reports that a boy found wandering in nearby Newport, Kentucky, claimed to be Timothy Pitson, who has been missing now for nearly 8 years. Pitson was last seen at a Wisconsin Dells resort with his 43-year-old mother when he was just 6 years old. His mother was later found dead at a motel in Rockford. Police in Ohio say the 14-year-old boy found wandering a neighborhood told officers he had been kidnapped and his name is Timothy Pitson. The boy was taken to a local hospital and later transferred to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Aurora police in Illinois confirmed they were notified about the boy in Newport and we're sending detectives to investigate. A Madison man accused of persuading a 14-year-old Tennessee girl to record a rape and then driving her hundreds of miles back to Wisconsin is now facing more federal charges. 31-year-old Brian Rogers was already charged in February with selling or buying child pornography and making false statements related to the case. Today, Rogers was indicted on additional charges of transporting a minor in interstate commerce with the intent that the minor engage in sexual activity. That would be a criminal offense under Wisconsin law and sexual assault of a child. Now, Rogers has been in custody since being arrested in January. His trial is scheduled to start July 15th in a Madison federal court. A Rock Springs man faces more than a dozen years in prison for his 8th drunk driving charge. 72-year-old Richard McCabe was stopped Sunday night in Reedsburg near the intersection of East Main and Veterans Drive. Prior to the arrest, a caller told police they had seen a driver who looked to be under the influence. McCabe faces up to $25,000 in fines or up to 12.5 years in prison. If convicted, he will also lose his driver's license permanently.
Burning materials that were improperly disposed of likely caused a garage fire in Oregon this morning. Several crews responded to reports of a structure fire in Oregon at 818 Oregon Parks Avenue around 11 this morning. Fire officials tell News 3 Now the resident made a brisket and put the leftover burning materials into a plastic container, which caught fire. Officials say most of the damage was contained to the garage, but a damage estimate is not yet available.
The Vilas Zoo is planning 2 Saturdays of family fun in April in recognition of the zoo's 2 primary priorities, education for families and conservation. Kids Day, a day with a noon talk about polar bears, free train and carousel rides, and free ice cream and hot dogs for children under 12. That will be April 6th. Train rides will also be free each weekend in April for Earth Month. The zoo is also planning a Party for the Planet, April 27th. Party for the Planet will have seedling giveaways, tree climbs, games, a solar presentation by Madison Gas and Electric, electric vehicles, and other educational displays.
To build on its zero waste initiative, the world's largest Bratfest is partnering with MG&E to use green power through wind and solar power. The Green Power Initiative will offset Bratfest's carbon emissions from electricity used to power the festival with green power. Last year, Bratfest reduced overall waste and converted 55% of all waste through recycling and composting. In addition to using renewable energy, Bratfest will have several electric vehicles for attendees to check out and learn more about the benefits of going electric. Bratfest, by the way, will be May 24th through the 26th.
There is more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Former Vice President Joe Biden speaking out after 2 more women come forward saying he made them feel uncomfortable. What he's saying.
2 of the biggest names caught up in the college admissions scandal are facing a judge in Boston. We'll have the very latest.
On Wall Street, the Dow climbs 39 points in midweek trading. The Nasdaq adds 47. S&P 500 ticks up a half a dozen. We'll be right back. Vice President Joe Biden, former Vice President Biden, speaking out for the first time about allegations of inappropriate touching.
4 women have now told their stories about how Biden touched them allegedly in a way that made them feel uncomfortable. The former vice president posted a video on Twitter today. He says his political style has always been about sharing a human connection.
I always believe governing, quite frankly, life for that matter, is about connecting with people. That won't change, but I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space.
Biden says he has worked his entire career to empower women, and going forward, he will adjust his actions.
Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax is asking prosecutors in 2 states to investigate allegations of sexual assault that he says are false. Fairfax proclaimed his innocence against allegations of sexual assault from 2 accusers from more than a decade ago. Fairfax says the encounters with both women were consensual. Republicans in the Virginia legislature are calling for public hearings. So far, Democrats have reportedly blocked attempts to hold a bipartisan hearing that would allow the women to tell their story.
The 2 biggest names in the college admissions scandal, actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman, face charges in a federal court today in Boston. Huffman is accused of paying a college admissions consultant $15,000 to boost her daughter's SAT scores. Loughlin and her fashion designer husband Massimo Gialuni are accused of forking over $500,000 to have their daughters falsely designated as recruits on the crew team at the University of Southern California.
There are recorded phone calls, and there are emails, and there are wiretaps, and there are other types of communications that are documented and aren't going anywhere. So that's the kind of case that the federal government brings.
A total of 15 defendants appeared before the judge today. The mastermind at the center of the scheme, Rick Singer, has already pleaded guilty and is cooperating with investigators.
All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti and our forecast. Gary?
After a nice day today, temperatures will turn cooler for tomorrow thanks to cloud cover and some rain chances that'll move in. You can see that the sunshine that we've had today is starting to give way to clouds coming in from the south and west on visible cloud track. As far as Doppler track is concerned, most of the rain is still back toward western and southern Iowa from about Des Moines over toward Omaha. The northern edge of the precipitation has been diminishing as it pushes toward Wisconsin. There's a little bit drier here, but eventually we'll look for some rain showers to develop. The live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows the skies have pretty much turned mostly cloudy over southwestern Wisconsin. The WISC Skycam also shows the clouds have thickened up, just a few cumulus clouds below the main deck off toward the east, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison looking off toward the east shows mostly cloudy skies as well. As we check out our almanac for today, our high temperatures soared back up to 57 degrees after starting out at 28, and right now we're still at 57 with mostly cloudy skies. Winds out of the west-northwest at 13 miles per hour, but like I was saying, the air pretty dry. Humidity only 24% with a dew point temperature of 20. Current temperatures are well into the 50s over southern Wisconsin, Milwaukee, close to 60. A little cooler up to the north. Temperatures lower 40s in northern Wisconsin, mid to upper 40s in central Wisconsin. But notice it does turn cooler to the west and southwest. What's happening is we have a kind of a drawn-out storm system here. A cold front has become stationary. It actually turns into a warm front that's lifting northward, and that's why you see the precipitation heading northbound. You can see on the weather map, here's that warm front I was talking about, stretching from southern Nebraska through Missouri down toward the Ohio River, and then a low pressure system located in eastern Colorado will track almost straight east. So the bulk of the heavier precipitation will stay to the south of us. Will be on the northern fringes of the storm, but there might be enough cooler weather coming in from the north that the rain may mix with some snow north and west of Madison later on tonight as temperatures there get closer to the lower 30s. Current temperatures are still in the 50s here. You can see on the other side of that warm front, they're into the 60s, close to 70 degrees. But as we look at future track, notice the rain, again, the more consistent areas of rain staying to the south of us, a little bit of light snow mixing in on the northern fringes of it, some off and on showers through the day tomorrow. And then as we head into tomorrow night, the shower should come to an end. And then after that, we should look for some clearing on Friday, and that will allow temperatures to bounce right back up into the 60s. We'll be in the upper 60s for Saturday and Sunday with the next weather system bringing us some showers, maybe even a thunderstorm chance toward the end of next week or toward the end of the weekend. Our forecast for tonight calls for skies that are mostly cloudy, rain showers will develop, maybe mix a little snow north and west of Madison late tonight. Low temperature dropping to 35. For tomorrow, look for a cloudy, windy, and cooler day with a high of 47 and some off and on rain showers. Not a continuous rain, but enough to keep it chilly. As we check out future track, the clouds move in tonight. Again, those rain showers perhaps mixed with a little snow, especially north and west of Madison. Low temperatures dropping into the middle 30s. For tomorrow, look for high temperatures in the upper 40s. Some off and on rain showers, but there'll also be some dry periods as well. Tomorrow night, the showers will start lifting to the north and east. Low temperatures will stay in the upper 30s thanks to the cloud cover. And then on Friday, notice the sky is starting to clear. Those temperatures rebounding will eventually end up right around 60 degrees here in Madison. Rainfall amounts through Thursday night, not particularly heavy, around 1/10 of an inch in most areas, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch down toward the Illinois state line. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you can see those temperatures well into the 60s for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday should be dry, a chance of a shower Saturday night. Sunday, some scattered showers or thunderstorms. Temperatures a little cooler for next week, mainly in the 50s, although a brief shot of cooler air with some showers on Thursday with highs in the upper 40s, and then temperatures rebounding back into the mid-50s toward the end of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, taking a look at the live view from the DOT camera on the Beltline at Park Street, starting to see some slowdowns in the westbound direction there just over the last few minutes. But the most consistent delays are actually in the eastbound direction, starting around West Broadway, going back to west of Verona Road. Westbound, just some delays between Fish Hatchery Road and Park Street, and also some delays northbound on US 12 heading out of Middleton. Right now, it's a 22-minute commute on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate. Heading back in the westbound direction, it's a 16-minute trip. If you're heading out of Madison, it's 27 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 19 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes out to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Ahead at 5, more women are worried about telling their bosses they are pregnant. We'll explain why after a short break. A former Netflix executive is suing the video streaming giant and reportedly claims she was fired after announcing her pregnancy. Netflix says the claims are unfounded.
The news comes as a survey reveals more women are worried about telling their employers that they're pregnant. Tom Hansen reports.
When working mom Lauren Hughes found out she was pregnant with her third child, she was happy to share the news with her family, but was a little worried what her employer might think.
I think that is a big concern for a lot of women.
Including this mom, who took steps to protect herself.
I even consulted a lawyer before talking to my employer because I was in the finance industry and was very concerned about this.
A new survey shows that 21% of working women are nervous to tell their boss they're pregnant. That's a big jump from just 5 years ago.
Working mothers.
Mary Beth Bearfield is with Bright Horizons, which commissioned the study.
That was startling to us. I think as we believe we are a workforce that is evolving and that is being more understanding of situations such as this, the study showed us differently.
The study also revealed why more women may be nervous. 69% of people say working mothers are more likely to be passed up for a new job than other employees. Ironically, most people also believe mothers possess the skills needed to be a good business leader.
And I think
experts say it's important for women who are expecting to expect fair treatment from their company.
Talk to your human resources department. Make sure that somebody understands what you're going through and can be a support to you through that.
That support can also benefit business. 40% of moms say they will stay with a company if they are given an equal opportunity to advance. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
And the survey also found 1 in 5 mothers are concerned they won't be viewed as leaders if they have children.
And stay with us. We'll have a final check of your forecast in just a moment.
Here's a look at some of the stories we are working on tonight. Joe Biden responds to accusations and releases a video saying he'll be mindful of personal space. We're in Boston, where actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman were in court facing charges in a college admissions scandal, and a final farewell to a Marine who wrote memorable letters. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally at 5, jellyfish are taking over a California harbor.
Oxnard, California residents got a surprise this week as thousands of jellyfish appeared in the Channel Islands harbor. Winds and currents have been pushing them into coves, making them more visible. People have been flocking to the area to see them both from land and on the water. And good news, moon jellyfish are not harmful to people. Pretty cool.
Aren't they harmful to SpongeBob Scorpion?
Might be. He doesn't like the jellyfish field. But Gary's here with our forecast and what's ahead.
It's quiet out there now. We'll look for some rain chances tonight into tomorrow. You can see the showers moving through Iowa, but it'll take a little while before they get here. Temperatures right now still pretty mild, mid to upper 50s. Be about 10 degrees cooler than this tomorrow. And then some rain chances toward the end of the weekend, but mild there and cooler next week.
And we'll have more updates in 30 minutes on News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.